All right, guys. So at this time, guys, we will be discussing the KidBright and the KidBright IDE. Okay, so this is lesson 1.1, Introduction to KidBright. Okay, so if for those who are not yet familiar with KidBright, so I will be discussing it here so that you are going to be familiar with it since this is our first meeting. So I'll just discuss the introduction of KidBright Programming. Okay, but this time I'll just discuss what is KidBright and what can you see on the KidBright IDE. Okay, so let's start. Present. Okay. All right. So introduction to KidBright and KidBright IDE. Okay. So before we proceed with the introduction, so I'm going to show you first what does KidBright look like. Okay. So I have it here. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. So this is what KidBright looks like. Okay. So this is the front of the KidBright, and then you see this is the back. Okay. So this is the KidBright board. Okay. So of course, in our computer room we have this. Okay. We have I have for each one of you one KidBright board per person. Okay, in the school, and we also have there the materials like the connectors, cables, and everything. But since we are online, okay, so we can't do that. Okay, but later on, I'm going to show you some online stuffs that you can uh, do using this KidBright. Okay, so let's discuss first KidBright. Okay, so what is KidBright? So KidBright is an embedded computer. Simply speaking, it is it's a small computer. Okay, so this one has its own processor, just like what a computer have. Just like this definition here, it is a small computer. So what the computer do, this KidBright board can also do it. Okay. So this KidBright has a microcontroller to get information, evaluate, and command electronics devices. Okay. So that's just what computer does. Okay. So that's why it's a small computer. It can get information, it evaluate the information, and then it can give commands to other devices. Okay. This KidBright board. So again, this is what KidBright looks like, and I'm going to discuss here the parts of KidBright. Okay, so KidBright board has sensors to measure light and temperature. You can see this box here. So this is for the sensor of temperature, and this is the sensor for the light. Okay, these are two built-in sensors in the KidBright board. Okay, you can see it's also here. You see this one. So it has a built-in sensor for temperature and for light. So meaning, if you just write the correct codes or programs for this KidBright board, then you can measure the temperature and you can also measure the light. Okay, so these are the two sensors. Next, so for the light sensor, if there is more light, then the value of the light of this sensor will be higher. Okay, and then if there is no light, so the value is low. Okay, of the sensor. Excuse me. So for the temperature sensor, so if the temperature gets hotter, the temperature level of this sensor will increase. Okay, and then if it gets colder, the temperature level will decrease. Okay, so next, so for these sensors, the value measured by these sensors will be converted into 1010. So these are digital values that computers can understand. Okay, the computers can read this value. Okay, so all these temperature and light sensors, all those value that they measured, they will be converted into digital values that this KidBright board can understand, okay? And the microcontroller is able to detect how much light there is or how low the temperature is. So that's for the sensor. So using this KidBright board, we can measure if the temperature is low, the temperature is high, or the light is low, or the light is high, okay? And also, in our KidBright board, we have input and output. Okay, you see this box? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 big inputs, okay? We have 4. And then for the output, we'll discuss it later. But here we have 4 inputs. So this is like more clear. IN1, IN2, IN3, and IN4. So this represents inputs. So inputs meaning if you want to add another device in this KidBright board, so you can just connect the wire in this KidBright board and then you can use that device using this KidBright board. So you can input 4 more devices in this KidBright board, okay? So these are the inputs. So let's say, for example, you want to measure the humidity of the soil. Okay, there's a humidity sensor. You can connect that humidity sensor in this KidBright board using this input IN1, IN2, IN3, and IN4. Okay, next. So the board can also distribute electricity to all the sensors, such as sensor for humidity level. So this is what I told you. Sensor for vibration level, sensor for dust density value, and any kind of values or sensors that you can insert in this KidBright board, okay? You see in this picture, the examples of other sensors that we can connect in our KidBright board. And of course, later on, since it's just our first meeting, later on, you guys have to do this one, okay? You're going to connect different kinds of sensors for your KidBright. And then for the buttons, so we have 2 buttons here. So let's see this one. Okay, we have button 1 and button 2. Okay, apart from reading values from sensors, there are also buttons which also run by electricity. Okay, these are run by electricity. So if the button is not pressed, it's off. But if the button is pressed, the power is on. So this button, these 2 buttons can be used to, if you connect lights here, so it can be used to turn on the lights, turn off the lights, or if you want to play some music, okay, sounds, you can turn on the sound or turn off the sound using these 2 buttons, okay? So these are some of the things that you can do in this KidBright board, okay? And this is what we're going to study this semester, okay? So KidBright, so when retrieving information, the KidBright board starts processing before implementing commands, okay? So what commands can we create in the KidBright board? So we can order the 8x16 LED screen. So we also have here this LED screen here to display something. Okay, you see this is the empty LED screen. And here we display the letter K and B for KidBright, right? So using this LED screen, 8x16 LED screen, we can display something here, okay? We can display here the value of the temperature, the value of the light, because we have 2 sensors, right? So you can, that's the use of this LED screen, okay? And on our KidBright board, we also have this buzzer, okay? So this buzzer, it is used to make sounds or different musical notes, okay? If you want to create the notes for happy birthday song, you can play it here using this one. And if you are familiar with the different notes of music, then you would love this buzzer because this can create sounds, okay? And we can also send 5-volt power to USB port for electrical devices. So here you see this one here. This is the USB port, okay? We can insert here devices, USB devices like USB light or USB fan. So USB light is used for, you can connect that for the light sensor. If the surroundings is very dark, you can turn on the light using the KidBright board. And then if your room is very hot, okay, using the sensor, you can turn on the USB fan once you connect it to the USB. Okay, so that's the 5-volt power USB port in our KidBright board. Okay, next is, of course, since we have input, we also have outputs. Okay, so output is used to send digital signals from output ports to make other boards function. Okay, so on output, we can connect other boards or other devices as well. Okay, so we have two output. Okay, so for example, we have another board that we want to connect with our KidBright. So connect it in our output. Okay, output 1 or out 1 and out 2. We have two outputs. Okay, so with all of these, there are a lot of ways to apply KidBright with many things. Okay, however, we need to create sets of commands by coding using our KidBright IDE. So this is the KidBright board, and as I discussed, we have a lot of ways to do a lot of things or many things in our KidBright board. And before we do that, before we make this KidBright board work, we have to create a program, okay? Set of commands or set of programs, just like programming. Okay, so we have to learn how to do that so that this KidBright board will work. Okay, and we are going to create those commands in our KidBright IDE. So IDE means Integrated Development Environment. So this is where we're going to write our program. Okay, so if you want to download your own KidBright IDE, go to www.kidbright.org, and you can see here KidBright IDE. We have 32-bit. If your laptop or computer is 32-bit or 64-bit, we have this. And then for Windows and for Mac, we have, okay. And we can also see here some drivers for our KidBright IDE. Okay, so you can just visit this website so that you can explore more about this KidBright. Okay, so download the drivers if you want. So later on, of course, we're gonna do that, but this time, since online, okay, we're just gonna stick with online KidBright. Okay, so this is what the KidBright IDE looks like. Okay, on the left side, we have this different categories, and I will discuss that. Okay, so coding commands in KidBright IDE are created by using block-based programming. Okay, you have to build the program just like a puzzle. Okay, if you are familiar with the Scratch programming, so it's the same with this one. You just have to get the codes on the left side and put it here on the center. And just like a puzzle, you're going to create your program. Okay, so KidBright coding. So when you need any ports of the KidBright board to work, just drag the blocks from the left and put it on the center to set a command and to make the blocks work. Okay, and of course, this KidBright board, in order for this to work, we have to connect this to our computer by connecting it using a USB cable. Okay, so what we need is, of course, we need a computer, this KidBright board, and a USB cable for this to work, and also the KidBright IDE. Okay, so on the top side, on the top part of the KidBright IDE, you can see these buttons. Okay, and then if you are already finished with creating the commands on your KidBright IDE, okay, if you want to build your program, you just have to click this button, the button with the arrow up. Okay, this is the build button. So the KidBright will convert the blocks into a coding language that is applicable with computers. Okay. And then you have to wait until the process is done. But since we are online, we can't do this one. So we are now able to write the commands. Okay. And then it's time for you to try. Okay. So guys, if you will have any questions, you can ask your questions. Okay. And then now we will have, or I'm going to show you guys the online KidBright IDE. Okay. So that you can try it by yourself. Okay. So let's go and open google.com. Okay. So in Google, you just have to type KidBright Simulator. Okay. And then the very first website that appears on the search results. Okay, you see this www.kid-bright.org and then simulator. So you can just click this. All right, and after you click it, okay, this is the online KidBright IDE. Okay, you see this one. Compared to the IDE that you will install, so there are a lot more buttons on the KidBright IDE compared to the online. Okay, because it's just online. Okay, and you see here we have this basic commands here. Okay, math commands, logic, loop, wait, music, sensor. Okay, so I will be having different lessons for these commands. Okay, I'm going to discuss all of these commands later on our further lessons that we're going to have. Okay, but for now, I'm just going to show you a very simple example. Okay, let's say forever. And then, let's say we want to display something. So let's say LED scroll when ready. So this is just like a command that says you want to display on the 16 by 8 LED, and what do you want to display? So you can see this one is hello world, and then you can just add it here. And then let's say my name is Justine. Okay. And then if done, you can just click this build button. Okay. And you can see here, since it's online, so this is what's supposed to be happening in your KidBright. Okay. So let's see. Okay, why is it there's no, wait, let's say okay, let's go back again. So forever LED scroll when ready. Okay, so let's say let's put a delay here. Okay, and then let's build. All right, what's happening? Okay, so I did not see it. So here we have LED scroll when ready, and then my name is Justine, and then I'll just add a delay of 0.5 seconds. And since inside forever, so it will always display, right? So if we build, okay, so you see this play button, so just play this one, and you can see my name. It will display my name is Justine, okay? So it will display whatever you put in the LED screen, okay? So this is an online example, but if we are on school, we can try this one, the KidBright board itself, using the computer and the USB cable. Okay, so that's it, guys, for the USB. For the KidBright discussion about what is KidBright, introduction to KidBright, and KidBright IDE. Okay, so now if you'll have any questions, guys, you can just ask me your questions, and you can proceed with the activity that I have provided in the Google Classroom. Okay, and for this time, guys, so let's proceed now on your activity. So here on your activity, guys, we have this activity 1.1. So this is the activity about flowchart. Okay, so I'm just going to discuss it here so that you will know what to do in this activity. Okay, so let me just zoom in. All right. So here, you have, of course, to put your names, name, class, and your student number. So the flowchart activity, create a flowchart about your daily life activities. So number one, so here you have to create two flowchart, okay? So this will serve as a practice for you guys so that you will understand more about flowchart, okay? So number one, flowchart, how to cross the road safely. That's the first one that you're going to create on the flowchart activity. And then number two, how to do your laundry. Okay? So what's the steps that you will do on how to cross the road safely and how to do your laundry. So I have here an example on how to make a tea. Okay, start, fill the kettle, heat the water, and then has the water boiled? If no, heat the water again, and then ask the question again, has the water boiled? If yes, make the tea and stop. Okay, and this is where you will put your flow chart, okay, inside this box. So for this one, how to cross the road safely. So what are the steps that you can take here? It's up to you. You can use how do you cross the road safely using an overpass, or how do you cross the road safely using a stoplight? Do you look at your right and you look at your left first before you cross the road? Okay, so you can use any process. It's your own process on how do you cross the road. Okay, you can use the zebra lane, the pedestrian lane to cross the road. Okay, and you can use the traffic lights. If it's red, you have to stop. If it's green, of course, you have to go, right? And for the number two, how to do your laundry. So how do you wash your clothes? So if you are using a washing machine, so what's the process on how to use the washing machine? Do you put your clothes first, or do you put your detergent first, or the fabric softener? And then how many minutes do you wash your clothes? Or if you are washing your clothes using your hands, how do you wash it? Okay, so you have to use those processes and put it into a flowchart diagram. Okay, so that's the activity 1.1 about flowchart. Okay, and then next, after guys, after you finish with the activity 1.1 flowchart, okay, you have to uh, take the quiz. Okay, the quiz 1.1 introduction to KidBright to assess your understanding on today's lesson about KidBright and about KidBright IDE. Okay, so I will be posting, I mean, at this time, maybe I already posted the quiz one. So this is the quiz one. So you can just click this link, this Google Forms link, and just answer the questions that I have provided in this quiz. And after you answer, okay, you submit, make sure that you submit. And then after that, after you finish the activity of the flowchart, and after you finish the activity on the, I mean, answering the quiz, you can just turn in and hand in your work. Okay? So that's your activity for today. You have all the remaining time that we have in today's lesson to finish these activities. Okay? So that's it, guys. I'll just be here in this Google meeting. I'll be waiting. If you have any questions, turn on your microphone, or you can use the message box on the Google Classroom to ask your questions. Okay? So that's it, guys. I'll just turn off my microphone.